What's up, everybody? It is time for the next chapter in our Lord of the Rings read through for Mondays in Middle Earth. We're currently on the Return of the King. I think we're doing chapter 3 today. I have got a kitten in my lap that's not wanting to go away, so this is going to be an episode where I have to position myself accordingly because she's being a needy little girl today and doesn't want to leave daddy's lap. So, yes. Can I read my book today? Can I read my book? Welcome to those of you who might be new. I'm Tim Anderson, aka Renfell. Yeah, what's up, Pippin? Pippin's finally getting. She's all her stitches are out, and we've had her bandages out for a couple days now, and she's spending more time with me and or Chris, whoever's available, just to make sure that she's completely good before we let her out with her siblings. Um, she's been doing pretty good. Yeah, yes, you are. But we don't need another abscess under the skin that burst because that was no fun. Anyway, today's episode of Mondays in Middle Earth, sponsored by all of you, the community members who keep this channel afloat and keep my bills paid through super thanks on videos like these, as well as during premieres like these. We have super chats and stickers that you can do during the live portions. You can also join as a member of the Adventurers Guild down there. There's 3 different tiers of membership, and a lot of you are members, so thank you so much for that. We also have more of you over at our Patreon page. So thanks. All right, we need to go back to the library. I'm in the middle of reading A New Spring by Robert Jordan as well, so I'm skipping around between books. Chapter 3, The Muster of Rohan. I do not remember this chapter. I'm assuming it's another merry chapter with Theoden. We're about to see. In the meantime, if this is your first time here, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you get more updates like this as we continue to go along. We're going to be doing it's not quite a live read through, but I do read through and then I cut out the dead portions. So I actually do like a read through review as we go. So if this is your first time tuning in, you'll figure it out. Is somebody home? Well, they'll get to her when they get to the door. Chapter 3, The Muster of Rohan. It says, even as Pippin stood at the great gate of the city and saw the prince of Dol Amroth ride in with his banners, the king of Rohan came down out of the hills. So really good world building here. It's describing things as the riders come down out into the Harrowdale, into the sunset of the west, it says. And it says here that Merry looked out in wonder upon the strange country of which he had heard many tales upon the long road. It said despite all of this, he longed to shut out the immensity in a quiet room by a fire. So he's doing a lot of discussing things or just riding alongside of King Theoden, but it says here he's missing Pippin immensely because it's his best friend. He grew up with him. Um, it's like missing, something that's always been with you. This dialogue where Éomer is saying to the king, look, man, if you would listen to me, I would say return home until the war is won. Let us younger men do it for you. And Theoden doesn't reproach him, but he does say, "Don't speak the words of Wormtongue to me, because the days of me leaning on his staff are far gone. If the war is lost, what good will be my hiding in the hills? And if it is won, what grief will it be, even if I fall, spending my last strength? We will leave now, tonight. One evening of peace is left us. Let us ride on." So it's just the king, you know, making sure that people know he is the king, and he will see this through. So it's really cool when they get back. When Theoden gets back, he finds that the forces of his people were already assembled. Because Gandalf had disappeared before the Battle of Helm's Deep, and he had gone out and sent messages everywhere. So the people who are able to be there are already here. What's up, Lucas? Notice we have a different cat now. Pippin's still in here, but Lucas snuck in as well. I do not remember this at all from my previous read through. As they're riding up above riding up to the top of this, hill where they're going to look out over the assembled armies. It says at each turn of the road there were great standing stones that had been carved in the likeness of men, huge and clumsy limbed, squatting cross-legged with their stumpy arms folded on fat bellies. It says they're called the Pukul men. Huh. But this is the ride up to the hold above the Firnfilf, up the Firienfeld. What's interesting here is there's this section that says all this stuff was built before Rohan, in the dark years, before any ships came to the western shore, before Gondor of the Dunedain was built, and only the Pukul men were left. So this is from the men of old, way before the Númenóreans ever arrived. Merry's having a serious moment of doubt here as he's getting, into the dark of night in his tent. It's like, what does all this mean? The paths of the dead and everything else. He says, they've all left me alone. Gandalf and Pippin are gone. Sam and Frodo are gone. Strider and Legolas and Gimli are gone. He says, my turn will come soon enough, I suppose. Oh, this is an interesting scene. They've got a messenger from Gondor, and Merry is struck by the likeness because it says he looked as like to Boromir as if he were one of his kin, tall and gray-eyed and proud. And he's presenting here a single arrow, black feathered and barbed with steel, with the point painted red. I bring you this as a token of war. Gondor's in great need. Often the Rohirrim have aided us, but now the Lord Denethor asks for all your strength and speed. The red arrow, says Theoden. It's not been seen in the mark in all my years. It says here that he has 6,000 at least that ride behind him. Say to Denethor that in this hour the king of the mark himself will come down to the land of Gondor, though he may not ride it back. It says it'll be a week before they arrive. Ooh, the storm of Mordor has arrived. It's a great cloud hanging over all the land between here and the mountains of shadow, and it is deepening. War has already begun. Oh, this is where the king says, Merry, you're going to stay behind and serve later Éowyn. Theoden's like, you know what? As great as your heart may be, you cannot ride on such beasts as we are riding to war. You just won't. You're not going to be able to handle it. Tie me up on the back of one or let me hang on a stirrup. I can run if I need to. So Éowyn is giving him some gear. And then the next morning comes and they're going through the lines of men. And it said they came almost to the end of the line when one looked up keenly at the hobbit. A young man, Merry thought. Keen-eyed. Ooh, it says he caught the glint of clear gray eyes, and then he shivered, for it came suddenly to him that it was the face of one without hope who goes in search of death. We know who this is, but still. There's a song here. Forth rode Theoden 5 nights and days, east and onwards rolled the Eorlingas. And here is the unnamed rider with the look of death upon their face. You shall ride with me under my cloak until we are far afield. Who are you? Can I know your name? Do you not know me? Then call me Dernhelm. So that's a rather short chapter by comparison to some of the others, but it's an important chapter because it is the mustering of the forces of Rohan and the fulfilling of their obligations to their lord, who is, in the scope of things, Gondor, at one point in time, you know, the land, if I remember correctly, the lands of Rohan were given to them by Gondor, by the ancestors. So it's a good chapter, if a short chapter. But as always, happy to have you here as we read through The Lord of the Rings and get to the Silmarillion through Mondays in Middle Earth. Hopefully you've enjoyed the read through in today's chapter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. And as I search for my sandals here, hopefully you'll throw super thanks on this video as a way of saying thanks and to supporting the channel. Don't forget, next week, Monday, 11 a.m., as always, we will be here. Maybe we'll do one of these live one day. It'd be kind of interesting to do a live version of Mondays in Middle Earth. I don't know if that would be boring for people or not. On a short chapter like this one, unedited, it's like 17 minutes. But I've had some chapters that are like 45 minutes unedited because there's a lot to go through. But that was a short chapter, so happy reading, everyone. See you next time.